Hi there, this is Jill Craddock speaking, your instructor for Product and Artist Management. Today or tonight, we're going to be talking about your final project and some research tips so you can get the most out of your project. And I'm going to go over some things specifically that will help you in maximizing how to use data and also go over just kind of a broad overview of what we are hoping to see as you complete this project. So thanks for joining us, and let's just move ahead on forward. All right, so the purpose of this assignment is you are going to have a presentation to pitch to a crowdfunding source. So a crowdfunding source is a website or a group of people who want to fund your project in an open source environment. So that'd be something like Kickstarter, okay? It might be your friends and family that join in, but it might be a group of strangers as well, okay? Kickstarter is the most well-known crowdfunding source, but there are dozens of others, and I will show you a sampling of some of those, okay? So you're going to have to research some of the product and service competition that's out there, provide statistics of hard, solid data to show why your product stands out in the marketplace, okay? And I'll show you some great sites to go to for that purpose as well, to show your, the distribution channel, so on and so forth, about what makes your product unique, okay? And there's nothing like having good hard data to get investors to jump on board with you. Okay, so as an example, your product or service should be different from what you're offering as a business plan. It should be kind of a tree branch, so to speak, something that is a subsidiary. So I've shown you this example, the Enzian Theater. Okay, this is an independent film house and theater, and their main product line, main thing that they do, is every week or so they change up their movie offerings, and it's a really cool, funky place, and they offer like independent or foreign films, art house, kind of like festival style movies, right? And it's a dinner theater. You can get drinks and so forth while you watch your movie. So this is their main business line, right? But they also have kind of offshoots of that. And when I'm talking about offshoot, what they've done and what we're asking you to do is figure out your overall business plan, what you're doing throughout the program, but figure out like what's a product or service that's maybe like a pain point for people, or something that you could really serve your community. And so an example of this is what the Enzian has done. And this is a place that I have worked for about 5 years now over the summers, and this is their main thing that they do, different showings, different movies. But if you look under the site for festivals, is they have these festivals that happen at different points through the year. So these are through the year. So this is like services that they offer that are different income streams for them, okay? So in the summer, they have Kid Fest, and that's something that I get to be involved in. It's really fun, and you create curriculum and help kids, preteens and teenagers learn how to make movies. So that's something that they do as a service to the community, and they show some free movies for the community and so forth. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about. What's your overall business plan? But then think of something that you could have as like a sub product or a side product or service. Okay, so you got to research your competition here, and the way we're going to do that is use LexisNexis academic research, and I will walk you through that process. Very helpful to have. You will forecast your financial numbers, and you know how to do that from what you've learned in finance class. It is important that you not submit any financials that you have done previously. Do use the skills that you have learned, but apply them to this product or service. Don't use the overall numbers that you've already worked up from month 5, okay? Then you're going to look at different crowdfunding sources, and you'll get to create your own kind of pitch commercial type video, and we'll talk about that too. Okay, so what we're looking for here is explain how you connect your product or service that you're developing for this with your overall business plan. You'll also select an artist that will endorse your product or service for some maximum visibility here. So if you've got like a product related to film, you would pick somebody who's connected to the film industry. Same thing for music. If you're doing something related to fashion, then you would select a fashion icon, so on and so forth. The target market, we're looking for something for you to narrow it down using that brand positioning statement that you've developed by now. You want to use industry data statistics, and we'll talk about how to get those, okay? Because that's going to really make your product believable and viable to investors, okay? The competition analysis, we will look at that in in LexisNexis. You got to know how you're different. You got to know what's happening in the competition, okay? You're going to look at least 3 competitors and show how your company is doing it differently, okay? Your financials, 3 crowdfunding sources and 5 levels of benefits for funding backers. What do people get if they jump on board and give you some money? And then your written communication is simply, double checking for typos and grammatical errors, things like that. Okay. This is actually a list of, or a snapshot of the top 10 most profitable crowdfunding sources from Forbes magazine recently. So you can look at these, select a few of these and research and see if their model fits what you're trying to do. So Kickstarter, for instance, you should know that you do not get the money unless your project is fully funded. So let's say that you're trying to do a project that's going to cost $5,000. You're trying to get $5,000 from people. Well, maybe everybody donates $3,000. You don't get any of that money. Okay, so your project has to fully fund on that. So that might be something that that turns you off, and you decide not for some reason not to do that. If you have like an independent style, funky arts project, something like that, Indiegogo might be for you. If you're developing an app backer. One of these, I can't remember which one, is more of like a social type project, social awareness. So if you're trying to help get clean water into a third world country, then that might be a good fit, the one that has social awareness. Something that's really important when you're doing your crowdfunding video is a sense of authenticity, okay? So make sure that you yourself are pictured and telling the story. So give a little snapshot and show yourself talking about your product or service. It doesn't even have to be the whole entire minute of you talking, but somewhere in there, show who you are. So I've included these thumbnails of crowdfunding videos that are out there that you could that are looking for support, and I especially like the one with the child and the cards, because it does kind of make you wonder, like, what's going on with these people, and that's what you want as a person. It's very important to tell why you're doing what you're doing, and you personally. People want to hear from you personally. So the why is just as important, if not more, than the what of what you're doing. So be authentic in your story and tell that. Here's an example of a project that was recently funded. At 251%, which is outstanding, and it's for a graphic novel. And you can see here different levels. They had over a dozen different levels of rewards. You have to have 5. So if you pledge here $1, you get basically a virtual thank you. 5 or more, you get the first 30 pages on PDF, and you get your name in the book. 10 or more, you get a magnet. 15 or more, you get the PDF of the whole book and your name. 20, you get like a actual print. Signed by the creator of the book. 20 or more, you also could get a physical copy of the book with your name in it. And so it goes up and up from there. One of the more interesting ones that I saw when I was rooting around on this was a video game. Someone was developing a video game, and if you gave a certain amount of money, they would develop an avatar based on your specifications. So it could look like you, or it could look like whatever you wanted the avatar to look like. You could tell them. So I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so in addition to what we're looking for in the content of the project itself, make sure that you do include your research, or your references rather. Tell us where you got your information, just like as a last slide kind of a thing. Grammar and punctuation, and make sure you turn it in on time. You know the late policy, and it can really take away from your grade, so be careful about that. Here's the profiles of the major media types. I wanted to include this, excuse me, so that you could have some idea of the major media types when you're putting together your marketing budget, which should be 20% of what you expect to spend at a minimum, because first of all, it's a new venture, a new business, so you have to spend a lot in marketing your product and your service. Okay, so it's important. These are advantages and kind of some drawbacks here of different integrated marketing pieces. Sometimes we'll see students come through and not really put very much money towards marketing and say, oh, we're doing Facebook and Twitter. Well, that's not really going to really cut it, because even if you do limit yourself to only social media, those costs are still there, because you have to think about who is going to run that social media campaign. You got to pay for that, and copywriting costs money, and gathering and getting the rights to images costs money. And it's very important to have traditional elements to marketing as well as social media, so keep that in mind. So online is just one component, and here's some pretty recent costs of what you can expect to spend, so you can calculate that. And a website here that will give you some more information if you need it. Okay, so how do you get information on your competitors? You got to have information on 3 competitors and show how you're different. Well, you recognize this site, I'm sure. Full Sail Connect. On the left-hand side, what you're going to do to get to LexisNexis is click under, when you go to Browse Organizations under here, click under Departments, okay? When you get to Departments, you'll see Library in the middle. The second column, second one down, go to Library. Library on the right-hand side, under Bookmarks, you'll see Research Databases. So click on Research Databases, and it's listed alphabetically. This will be very helpful to you as you proceed if you haven't gone through these yet. There's tons of like scholarly journals, databases. They've got PowerPoints here, tables, people's thesis, research reports, anything that you could really need to help you flesh out your papers. And definitely look through the journal or the databases here. There's loads of them. So they're all listed alphabetically. So when you get to the L's, slow down, get to your LexisNexis Academic, click on LexisNexis Academic. And on the right-hand side, you're going to go to Get Company Info. You'll type in, I typed in Sony just because it's a well-known entertainment product company. Type in Sony. It'll give you the top results. Usually it's the top one that you're looking for. Click on the top one. And look at all this information that comes up. It's fantastic. You got their stock quotes, you got everything that's happening in the news, overview of their financials, any kind of mergers and acquisitions, cases that they're going through legal-wise, patents, what are they coming out with here in the near future, where have they been in the news. You can find their executives, the whole organizational chart. What you're really looking for here for your purposes are their brands and then the competitors, okay? So you click on brands, you get a list of all their brands, okay? So you can look up information there, and competitors. So you've got to select 3 competitors. So let's say you're doing a camera, and you'd want to look at Sony, Nokia perhaps, and Eastman Kodak, and figure out how your camera is different, okay? So make sure that you take a look and dig through LexisNexis here, and that's how you do it. The next site I want to share with you, and this is how you get data on the market that you're going to try and reach, is census.gov. There's tons of information on here. We could do a whole class on how to navigate government websites, but to show you very quickly, the census, I've selected data as my first one, and go to Quick Facts. So data, and then you go to Quick Facts, and then I selected Florida. And when you select Florida, it goes on for, you can scroll down and down and down, and it tells you, you can even do this by county. You can look at the whole United States, whatever you want to do, but look at all this information. You can find information about education, age, number of people, what retail sales have been like. You can find how many people are living alone with no wife, how many people are living separated or divorced. You can find the relationships between people living in a certain household. You can find the number of children in kindergarten. So it's unbelievable with just like 3 clicks on the census.gov website what kind of information you can find. So we really would like you to include some hard data and hard facts, and this is an excellent website to support what you're doing. So who you're marketing to, and this will give you those numbers, okay? Educational attainment, where they've moved from, okay? The region, language at home, so on and so forth. So Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you happen to be marketing to certain occupations, let's say you're marketing to filmmakers. I happen to market scripts to English teachers, so this is very helpful to me. I can figure out how many English teachers there are in the United States. If you're marketing to musicians, you can find out how many musicians there are on this website. What I wanted to show you is something that will apply to everybody. Again, this is a website that you can spend a lot of time on, and I encourage you to look at it because there's information on here that you wouldn't believe that people have access to these facts and that it's all documented, but here it is. So it's just yours for the taking, and use it how you will. But what I did was I just clicked on subject area tab. Databases and tools is another good one. It'll like put all this together for you in Excel and so forth. So it's really interesting. So subject areas is a good one. Once you click on subject areas, go down to the bottom left under spending and time use. All of these can really help you in a lot of ways, but spending and time use, I wanted to know how are Americans spending their time, because that could really help me in marketing my product or services. Another way to know is how are Americans spending their money, consumer expenditures. But I decided to look at how Americans spend time as an example for you guys. So ATUS is American Time Use Spendage, and this is a study. So you can see there's some articles, news releases that have been released on this. You can actually click on the study itself, and on the right-hand side, it will tell you how many weekdays and weekends and holidays. So you can see, let's look at educational activities on the right-hand side. Weekdays, weekend, and holidays. So obviously you guys are spending a lot more than that. You can see how much time is spent on phone calls and email, okay, leisure and sports. So if you know how much time people are spending doing what you're trying to do, that's very helpful. Then you can look at how much money they're spending too. So keep those sites in mind. The last thing I wanted to make sure that you got to look at, this is listed in the course page on the directions. Dylan Benson did a great job on his work. The only thing I would say, he put all of this work together, and then he did a clip for his crowdfunding piece. The only thing he did not do was put his own face into the crowdfunding pitch. So I would say, make sure that you do include your face somewhere in there. But this is the link to that, and you'll also find it on the course page. So we've gone over the project. We have looked at LexisNexis, we've looked at census.gov, we've looked at Bureau of Labor and Statistics.gov, and I would really like for you to include those statistics and facts in your marketing presentation. It's very important that you have that backup, okay? So please contact us with any questions as you proceed, and use us as thought partners if you have any stumbling blocks along the way, and we can help you as you move forward. And we definitely look forward to seeing what you come up with. And just one last clarification: if you are a campus student, you will be presenting in class. If you are an online student, you will be saving this as a PDF and uploading to FSO, and it will not be narrated. Online students do not narrate your projects. Upload to FSO, and you can just include a link to your crowdfunding pitch. Okay, so let us know any questions, and we will talk with you soon. Thanks again for joining.